Thank you for clicking on my video. This will be an interview with the creators of Cosmic Horizon. It's a blockchain based game currently in development by Qwoyn Studios, and they describe their game as a strategy and trade based cosmic multiplayer game. It's built using the Cosmos SDK. And Cosmos users, you're already very familiar with airdrops. There will be an airdrop associated with this game, so make sure you listen for that. Um, for disclosure, I am not currently a holder of this NFT collection, but I'm very interested in blockchain gaming, as you might know. Everything you need to help you do your own research will be in the description below. This includes the white paper, which is very detailed and very professionally done, as well as links to their socials and anything else that's relevant. If you like informational content like this, you will probably enjoy many other videos that I've made on this channel. Please take a look around, subscribe, and also like and share this video if you find it useful. Now, enjoy the conversation that we're about to have on Cosmic Horizon. I've got Dan here and Will. Thanks so much. I'll give you guys a sec to introduce yourselves and also the company.
Sure. Hey, thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. And so, with that being said, I'm Dan, CEO of Cosmic Horizon, Qwoyn Studios. The game is Cosmic Horizon, and yeah, this is Will.
Hi there, my name is William Moley. I'm the other co-founder of Qwoyn Studios.
Great. I'm going to start off with just a couple yes or no questions or one-word answer questions. And then we'll get into the collection and we'll get into the game, of course. First question I've got, how many people on your team have actual experience designing games?
So there's at least three of us that do that, which is about half the team.
Okay. I think you told me previously you've got about 7 on your team. Is that right?
Correct.
Got
Yep,
it.
yep.
Okay, cool. Um, and as far as game development, did you need the collection to mint out in order to fund this?
No, we actually, funny enough, with the NFT collection itself, we've actually staked or LP'd all of the tokens that we've gotten from that. So we're not even using any of the NFTs funds at all. We actually had a token private sale that we did prior to the NFT sale.
Got it. Okay, fungible token.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good that these companies are building and not 100% reliant on the NFT money. It's good for people to know who are thinking about buying into the project. Um, and the third, yes or no, um, will people be able to play even if they initially don't know anything about crypto or NFTs?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And in fact, we've kind of modeled our game around that fact. So, our philosophy is kind of build a game to play first, and then the blockchain aspects are kind of a bonus on top of that.
Can you go through the collection? It minted on Stargaze. Um, yeah, just go through that collection and I will bring it up.
So these are basically these Genesis NFTs consist of 3 avatars and 3 ships. Because when you play the game, you might have different sort of playing styles. You could be, and so we could start, for example, you've got the Callan there. That's your sort of the warrior race, if you're going to be a little more combative. And the ship that's sort of specific to that avatar's race is the heavy cruiser. So that is if you're going to take a sort of militaristic approach in the game, a little more combative, that would be something that will give you a little advantage in that direction. The next race, you've got the Atari, which are the kind of traders and barterers in the game universe. And let's see if you scroll down a little bit. That guy, the Atari veteran there. And they, of course, if they're traders, they're going to have a freighter. So again, if you're more trade and barter oriented, that would give you some little advantage in that direction. And then finally, you have the Vedic, which are kind of more exploratory and science themed. So they've got the what do they have? The Pathfinder. So again, exploration is a key component of the game. So during that phase, and when you're doing reconnaissance or exploration, that character is in that ship or leaned in that direction, and you can mix and match all this stuff. Um, it's just that in each ship, for example, is going to be is enhanced and slightly more rounded version of a standard ship that'll exist in the game, because every ship, depending on how you want to play it, like I said, if you're trading, you're going to have a freighter. It's going to burn more fuel, go a little bit slower, have less attack and defense values, whereas these are all a little bit more well-rounded in every area, even though each one has its specific advantage or yeah. The same thing with the avatars too, because every character has an avatar, but these avatars, if you're playing with them, are just have a have boosted stats in different directions.
Yeah.
Okay, so there'll be like a free version of the avatar versus the NFT version.
Not
Something.
necessarily free, but let's say very economical.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Um, and if people go into the white paper, they'll be able to pull info about the different NFTs and then choose which way they want to go, so they can match the ship to the character. Is that
Correct. Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's the best
Yeah.
way to go? Maybe. Okay, that makes sense.
Absolutely. So I mean, it's kind of choose your own adventure in that respect, where you're like, well, I want to be a merchant. I'm really into, performing arbitrage or maybe gathering resources and selling those to other players or whatever it may be. Or maybe you're like William had mentioned, maybe you're like into battles and you want to be a warrior and you're into conquering planets. So you kind of get to pick and choose how you want to play the game.
Got
The
it.
other thing is, as you play the game, there's sort of different stages. I mean, I guess of course everyone's going to play differently, and and people invent their own sort of styles and strategies. But there are kind of stages of the game, and each one of these things is going to be advantageous at different stages. So in the
Right.
beginning, when you're exploring, that's an advantage. When you start maybe colonizing or trading a little bit more, there's an advantage there. And when it comes time to start attacking your neighbors, there's a guy for that too. So it's
Right.
not just the different playing styles; it's also kind of like stages of the game. So they're all going to have utility. But of
Got
course,
it.
you can, yeah,
So these are not just avatars; these are playable in the game, or their
That's correct.
stats will play into the game, and that's in the metadata.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically the way that, I mean, you've got an avatar, just like any other game. You're going to need a character, so that's what these avatars are, actually like your in-game character. And then of course the ships are what you're using to fly around and perform different actions.
Will the NFTs derive value from how they're used in the game? How does that work?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can think of it real simply as, let's say you start off with a level one character, right? You do all these actions, you do all these steps, you go out, you're fighting, you're conquering planets, you're doing lots of trades, and your level starts increasing. So basically it's kind of like, well, do you want a basic avatar that has no experience, can't really fly awesome ships, or do you want a character avatar that's, built up? So of course there's going to be a different value range in that, which is obviously determined completely by the community themselves. So it'll be, if I put myself in the shoes of a player and I've spent hours and hours and hours developing a character, in my mind, that's going to be more valuable than a character that I can just pick up when I first start the game.
Got it. So will it be an advantage for someone to just buy a character that's already leveled up? Will they be able to skip ahead in the game? Is it
Absolutely.
okay? So
Yep.
yeah, so that's, I mean, that's definitely valuable, because a lot of people just don't like the beginning stages of some games, right? It's slow. Maybe there's a little bit of grinding that has to go on in certain games.
I
Um,
would recommend doing the grinding though. You're right.
yeah,
You're right. I
I
mean, because
like the grinding part of these games sometimes, because I
yeah.
have it's like good for you, like you have like a little bit of an OCD that gets addressed there, and or maybe
Right.
there's like a hoarding where you're collecting materials or something.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting. And will there
in
be
the case of the Genesis NFTs, though, the idea there was so that the people that got in early, I mean, everyone's going to have to grind a little bit. I mean, that's kind of the whole game. Well, not the whole game, but that's a core component. I mean, trading. I mean, I wouldn't call that even grinding, but it's a little grind. But the is to get those guys. You kind of hit the ground running, and you do skip some of that very, very first
Yeah.
portion where you're really in a little ship. You really have to level up and put that time in. So that's the Genesis NFTs, was to get those guys, especially people who are in the community early, off to a running start. Of course, as time goes by, someone could, of course, enter the game and then just be like, yeah, forget about that. I'm just going to pay some dude and get his stuff. That's absolutely a thing that will probably happen too. But
Got it. And then last thing on the NFTs. So depending on the character that you choose, from the player's point of view, will it be a different experience going through certain stages of the game? Is that is that fair to say, or just the strategy is different, but they're doing
I
this?
mean, yeah, like William touched on that a little bit. So I mean, when the game first kind of starts out, not to get into the mechanics too much, but basically you're going out and you're exploring. You're trying to kind of position yourself, and you want to do that quickly. So the Vedic is going to be a lot better at that than, let's say, one of the traders, right? So one of the merchant ships, they're going to be a little bit slower. They're going to have advantages in other areas, but definitely in the beginning, you're going to want a quick ship. You're going to want to get out there. You're going to want to start mapping the sectors, and then from there, kind of move on. So, I mean, it does kind of depend. Go ahead, Will.
yeah, I'd say that for example, if we took a metaphor from like Dungeons and Dragons or something, and one guy's a warrior, one guy's a thief, right? They're still playing the same game. The overall experience is going to be pretty similar, but how they play it, if you're a warrior versus a thief, is going to be different. So it's the same
Yeah.
core experience, but with different characteristics.
Well, we can get into the game mechanics now if you want. The game, so the NFTs are on Stargaze, right? You're The game is going to be built on Stargaze or your own blockchain.
No, so actually, okay, so the way that this works is, since we don't actually have our chain up and running yet, we wanted to give our entry level, like basically our founder crew, the community that is supporting us currently. We wanted to kind of reward them in a way. So we came up with these Genesis NFTs that have bit of different abilities, have slight advantages over the ones that you're going to be able to get once the game actually launches. So we needed a place to actually do this, and that place was Stargaze. So that's why currently the NFTs are available on Stargaze. Going forward, Stargaze will continue to be a marketplace where our NFTs will be tradable. However, the NFTs will be minted on our own chain. So we have a custom NFT module, a module being a chain attribute. So when you build your own chain on Cosmos, you can build in all of these different types of modules, they call them. So one of that being the custom NFT, which allows us to expand the attributes, allows us to kind of make the NFT more dynamic, because the way that they stand right now on Stargaze is that they have attributes that are kind of set in stone. They don't change.
Right,
So
right,
with this custom NFT module, since it's a game, your avatar is going to be changing, right? Your ship is going to be having weapons upgrades to there's going to be defensive upgrades, all these different types of things, and the NFTs actually track all of those changes. And so if you lose it, it disappears. If you gain something, it appears.
for people that are not familiar with Cosmos, what he's referring to is most of the chains are app specific chains.
Yeah.
It's, Osmosis is a DEX, Stargaze is an NFT marketplace, and so on. So, and your chain will be the chain for your game,
Right. Right.
right? So they're app
Exactly.
specific, app
Yep.
specific.
Exactly.
I think
So
also there'd be some sacrifices in interoperability if you tried to load all that stuff up on the Stargaze side of things, and if you, with that custom NFT module, when you slim things down on the Stargaze side, once that simplifies things, because down the road you're going to have to IBC transfer these things back and forth, and if you front load that with all that stuff, you are not going to be able to transfer
right.
those between wallets and chains.
Well, you mentioned that your chain is not up and running yet. Do you have a timetable for a playable demo?
So Don't like to give times because anytime you do, it disappears. But our hope, fingers crossed, is that on a will have kind of a playable MVP on a test net by the end of the year. So real basic functionality, people flying around, interacting with starports, and just kind of the very basic mechanics. So we're hoping to have that by the end of the year.
Well, that's pretty soon for a game.
It really is. It,
Yeah.
it really is. And again, this is going to be on a test net. So it won't be actual live tokens, none of that kind of thing. Everything will be simulated, I guess is the right word to use there.
Understood. And for the way you envision the final version of the game, or at least the first iteration of it, um, can this be played on a phone? Do you need a desktop computer? Do you have to download something? How is that going to work as far as you guys are thinking right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So the way that we kind of envision this, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, where we're building a game that we want gamers to play. The blockchain stuff is an added bonus, even though it is very critical in the game itself, but you don't have to be very knowledgeable on the kind of back end techniques that are happening there. But what we really want to do is, I mean, just to give just a short background, is when games on blockchains first started, they were very basic 2D. You had a crypto kitty and then a picture of another one, and you click breed, and then there's another picture of another one. So that's kind of how that all started, and you could call that a game. And then there's also other ones. But I think that blockchain gaming is now at a stage where we're ready to build real games that take graphics cards. We're using Unreal Engine with just beautiful 3D models. And so to answer your question is you'll need a computer to play it. Definitely will need a computer. And again, I know that a lot of people are mobile. However, our philosophy is let's get gamers into blockchain. Let's really build them something that they can enjoy, because it's a huge market that frankly is not being utilized.
You want traditional gamers to
Yeah,
play games, and maybe they get introduced to NFTs for the first time, or cryptocurrency for the first time through the game, which I think is a win-win. For
exactly. I mean, the way I imagine it is you download the game client, you install it, you jump into the game, you set up your character and everything, and in the background you're interacting with a blockchain, and you've got an NFT. You may not realize that that's exactly what it is, but after some time you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, I have actual ownership over this in-game asset. Like, there's a marketplace that I can go to and I can sell this. So there's, yeah, it's going to, hopefully, if we move in that direction, hopefully we can start to attract real traditional gamers.
and besides the ownership aspect, um, can blockchain enhance the game in other ways as well? I know Cosmos has the interoperability. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I can talk about the interoperability for sure. Enhancements, I mean, it's going to be a game. It's going to be run on Unreal Engine. You're going to have a graphics card, so you're going to get a lot of that traditional stuff. Kind of I don't know if enhancement is the right word, but an added ability is the fact that yes, we can interact with other blockchains. One of those being Regen Network. They're an ecosystems credit platform, so they have everything from carbon credits to city forest credits and all these different types of credits, which is their mission is to kind of save the planet. So we're very conscious of that. And so one of the cool things that you can do inside of Cosmic Horizon is that you'll be able to actually retire credits that you've gotten from Regen Network to terraform planets and to create new planets. The so there kind of becomes like this level of interacting with other projects, other apps and chains, while just playing a game and having fun and accomplishing the mission that you've set out, and also kind of help on other chains as well, if That's the right word to use.
Yeah, I mean, then I guess as you bring gamers in, not only will they get introduced to blockchain, crypto, and NFTs, they'll get to see that, wow, in this ecosystem, the layer one chains, they're separate, but they're connected, right? There's
Right.
communication between them, and being able to move assets, tokens, value back and forth is something that the other ecosystems just don't have it, or at least don't have it in a smooth, safe way right now.
Right. Right.
Um,
Why don't you talk about the airdrop? You mentioned it before we started recording, and I wasn't even
Yeah.
aware of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so we started out with this kind of idea. So most chains, what they do is they'll perform an airdrop of their tokens to get those into the hands of as many users as possible. What we've been noticing is that you're putting tokens in people's hands, which is great, but really they're just dumping them, and they may not even be interested in your
Right.
project itself. So we were thinking about a way that we could actually reward the people who are truly interested in playing the game. So what we've done is we've done two different things. First of which, real simple, if you own an NFT of ours, then you're going to be getting a token airdrop. That's the first way that we're doing this. So that's just basically to reward these founder NFT holders. So you're here, you're in the very beginning. Not only do you have these really cool rare Genesis NFTs, but here's an ability to play the game, with some tokens in your
get
pocket
you started.
already
Yeah.
to get you started. The second way, did you want to talk about that? I've been talking a lot, Will. Did you want to
Yeah.
talk about the protocol?
I mean, no, yeah. Well, that's the second phase of that is simply just protocol. It's like Dan was saying, protocol to protocol. So we're collaborating with we have relationships with a number of other projects, and rather than just dumping them on their communities, we can give, and you can, especially with interchain accounts, that's going to open up some other functionalities on this front. But you can drop tokens to their community pool, and so that they collectively, the community has that airdrop, and then they can decide how to use that, through governance, which will hopefully then, instead of people just, uh, I mean, it aligns the values and success of the two projects to a certain degree, but then it gives their community a say in how they want to
Yep.
do that, and I imagine will yield more interesting results when people decide those things through governance.
Do you want to
Right.
run through the phases of the game? You told me, you gave me the gist of it a while ago. I think without going too far into the mechanics, just the phases that we discussed previously.
Sure,
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
take.
Go ahead and do
Yeah.
that, William. I'm having some issue over here.
I did actually, before I answer, I just want to bounce back for 1 second when we were talking before about like what are the other besides ownership, what are the enhancements that the blockchain brings to the game? And the thing is, it's I feel like that kind of underplays the how big of an enhancement that really is, because as we've talked already, it's a game first, and then with that's empowered or sort of like turbocharged with the fact that you've got this blockchain on the back end, because whenever you play that, that's going to be your stuff. And I feel like as you trade, you buy some, which I'm going to just about to mention, some resources in point A, and then you sell them in point B, and you're like, wow, now I have this. And you can say, if you really want to, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take that out of the game, turn them into coho, and now you have something. And if it's not, obviously the game's about ownership and play and having fun, but when you put your time in and then see that you have something for your time, that could be a ship, or it could be monetary or whatever, I think that will really, it's quite a game changer, because in most games everything is, and it's decentralized too. You've got this community behind it, which I just think in traditional gaming, they're communities, but that ownership and that you're all kind of in this thing together, is quite a boost, that you have the fruits of your labor, and someone isn't going to just grab them away from you or
Yep.
switch
So
off.
the in-game
Yep.
resources will be fungible tokens themselves, or is that at least the plan?
They're
Kind
tokens.
of,
Yeah, we're still
yeah,
trying. Yes. Well, yeah, in a sense of the word,
hybrid,
right?
yeah.
Or can be used to buy a token somehow?
Correct. Yeah,
exchanged.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
exchanged. I mean, there's
in fact, let's jump into the dynamics of the games. So you start out in this game, you got your little dinky ship, and you've got your avatar, and you're like, hey, and you got a little bit in your pocket, um, some cohos in your pocket. So you just fly off into space. You find a port that's selling a variety of different resources. You buy resource A, and then travel through space, to another port that's buying resource A and selling resource B. And you're going to look for a port that's buying resource A at a price that is higher than you paid for it. And you sell it off, you've made a profit. Now you can buy resource B, take it to another port that's buying B at a higher than you paid, and that by performing arbitrage, you're earning the in-game currency. And by continuing that, after a little time, you're going to probably upgrade your ship so you can carry more of that resource on each run, and that's increasing your earning potential or your arbitrage opportunities. And you continue down that path. And once you've got some experience and raised the right enough resources, you can upgrade your ship. And like I said, you've got engines, weapon systems, and cargo holds that you can upgrade and advance and level up and level up. And once you get to a certain point, you kind of feel like you can travel safely in the universe. You've got enough holds to move stuff around, and you've got a weapon system you're comfortable with. You can start going further out and spend your resources on other things like on developing planets, where you're just going and picking up colonists and depositing them, getting the population up, and then spending resources to upgrade that planet, which will then in turn not only produce resources, but also you can build defense systems and other things and use that along with other in-game elements to fortify sectors of space, to build up your little territory and fortify it.
Got it. So you're going to have kind of seems like a pretty robust in-game economy
yeah.
besides the NFT marketplace where people can get a hold of your collection. Um, will there be another NFT collection at some point?
Well,
Not
not.
in the.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead, William. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
Go
the
ahead.
thing is, the game, there's lots of elements in the game that will all be NFTs that you'll use. Like, you could buy a ship in the game, but it's not necessarily like, because you want that it's part of a collection per se. There's just standard ships, standard elements.
Oh,
Even,
understood.
yeah. And then some other like in-game elements will be represented by NFTs. But that's just like a tool to track your ownership of that thing and allow you to then again sell it to someone else or transfer it or move it from one place to another.
God,
In
I
terms
think
of
we
like
get
an
used
actual,
we,
yeah,
we we get used to the idea of always waiting for a mint. A whole collection gets released at the same time, but I guess with the game, that's not necessarily going to be the case. It'll be acquiring NFTs or buying NFTs in game.
Right.
One
Right. I
like
mean,
right.
one
it'll
off.
be.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Because if you have an NFT, let's say your ship is one NFT, and I attack you and and capture that ship, now I have that's mine now. But I mean, it wasn't
Understood.
minted. I just won it in battle.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, that's and as far as another like, I mean, this is something we don't have it. Well, Dan can answer this, but I think it would be cool at some point down the road if the community wanted it to make some kind of special ships with special stuff and do like a little NFT mint at some point down the line. Uh, but that's something later. And also, we kind of want the community to be like, that's what we want you to do. So it's not like
Right.
we're just out cash grabbing or selling Darth Vader's for
Yeah.
50 grand or something.
Right.
All right. Well, anything else you want to get out there, or maybe tease to your existing community?
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily. We do a community call every 2 weeks. If folks want to show up to that, it's actually every Friday, and
Every
yeah,
other
you
Friday.
can every other Friday, and you can find out all of the different information. We usually keep people up to date on what's been happening, what's going to be happening in the future of development. And I guess the one thing that I do really want to emphasize is that this is a community game. Like we're building in public, we're building open source. We want folks to really understand that they have true ownership and governance over the development of the game itself. So it's really a community run project.
And for someone, just hearing about this for the first time, how do you recommend that they start their deep dive?
Yeah, I mean, I would join the Discord. Hopefully you'll post a link for that.
I'll have
And
that below. Yep.
yeah, great. So yeah, if they join the Discord, they can go to our official links channel. We've got a roadmap, we've got the white paper. Please read the white paper. It's 30 pages. We've done a fantastic job, in my opinion, on it, just to really outline our vision. And yeah, get involved with the community, get yourself one of those Genesis NFTs, and start chatting with people.
Great. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys coming to bring this information to my channel, to my viewers, and of course, good luck with the development of the game. I know it's probably very long and tedious, but it sounds like you guys have a good plan. And I definitely agree. The white paper is very professionally done, and a lot of the information there is very specific. Should answer a lot of questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Yep. No
Yeah.
problem. Thanks, guys.